All right, let's talk a little bit about when you worked for this FBI as a cooperating informant. And before this case, the times you did it before this case. Did you work, you said you worked in 2006, right? 06, 07, 06, 07. Did you work in 08? It probably was a time with Watts. Yeah, that's around that time. So yeah. Okay. And do you remember that? I don't remember, ma'am. That's been '08. I've been shot in my head and everything, ma'am. You might as well stop that. I don't remember that. Okay. Well, we're going to have to go through and make sure you don't remember. I don't remember. I'm telling you, I don't remember from then. I've been shot in my head, so I don't remember that. You were out of your head in 2008? I got shot in my head, ma'am. But since then, I've been shot. So when did you? I don't remember. I don't remember, like, back then. Like, I can remember. I know the situation was. It was a dirty cop on the low end. His name was Watts. He was extorting everybody on the low end, taking people's shit, and he took the wrong person's shit. And that day, because when he took my money, I had went to the feds when he took my money. I wasn't going. He asked me, did I want to go to jail or did I want my money? I said, I'll go to jail. He took me to jail. I got up with the feds. As soon as I got out, that's how I got with the feds, because of Sergeant Watts. Okay. And who did you work with on that? I don't know, ma'am. I can't remember that. That's why I'm saying I can't remember. I know. Let me go back to when did you, so you've gotten shot in your head and it's affected your memory. Is that correct? Ma'am, I don't even want to talk about that, ma'am. Just, sir, when did you get shot in your head? I don't want to talk about that, ma'am. I don't want to talk about that. Judge, when did you get shot in your head? It's irrelevant, ma'am. Judge, I asked the witness be directed to answer the question. I plead the fifth. Sir, you do need to answer the question. So you can ask the question and then you do need to answer. When did you get shot in the head? I got shot in the head 2004. 2004? Yes, ma'am. Okay. It still affects me to this day. So it affects your memory. Yes, it do, ma'am. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to have to ask you if you remember things. If you don't, you tell me. If I tell you I don't, would you keep on asking me? I'm going to have to ask you the questions I have to ask, sir, because this isn't Comedy Central. It's a court of law. Yes, ma'am. Okay? All right. In 2008, were you opened as an FBI confidential? I don't remember, ma'am. Do you remember a Special Agent Jeffrey Moore? No, ma'am. Do you remember TFO Anthony Driver? No, ma'am. Do you remember providing information to them? Yeah, I did. I told you that. It was a dirty cop and he was extorting the whole low end. Hell yeah, yes, I did. This was not about Watts or dirty cops. This was about, for example, your first debriefing was about a faction of the BDs called the Son of David. Faction of BDs, Sons of David. Yes. Do you remember providing information about that? No, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Do you remember talking to them about? I don't even know. No, I don't even know what you're talking about, ma'am. I ain't gonna even lie. The Sons of David? That sound like a fucking biker gang. How about David Barksdale? David? That's BDs. That's just BDs, period, man. That ain't no Sons of David. Like, didn't you talk about the royal family fraction of the BDs? The royal family? What the fuck? Hey, ma'am, I don't remember. I don't know what you're talking about, ma'am. Do you provide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 additional names in that debriefing? Ma'am, I don't remember, ma'am. You talking about something like, how long ago was that? That's like 14 years ago, 15 years ago, ma'am. Like I say, I don't remember, ma'am. It's so much shit. I've been seeing so much kids get killed and friends die and all that shit since then. I don't remember. I don't know no names. I don't know what you're talking about, ma'am. All right. Do you remember that And by the way, none of that information in 2008 has anything to do with Parkway Gardens. No, ma'am. Anything to do with gangs or criminal activity in Parkway Gardens? No, ma'am. Isn't that correct? No, ma'am. All right. It was about, well, you don't know what it's about. Do you remember that at the end of that, you asked for help to be moved out of Chicago? No, ma'am. Okay. No, ma'am, because I was still in Chicago. So how the fuck I been in Chicago the whole time? Like, only time I went out of town, like when I paroled out of town, I've been in the city every time. Like, I never moved out of Chicago. All right. Well, let me ask you this. Do you remember in that cooperation, that part of the cooperation, you placed recorded phone calls to people? No. Do you remember being wired up to make drug purchases? No. No, ma'am. No? Do you remember do you remember being moved? I wasn't moved anywhere, ma'am. I always been in Chicago, ma'am. I never was moved nowhere. I never been moved, ma'am. Did you ever receive a bus ticket to Atlanta, Georgia? To Atlanta, Georgia? No, ma'am. Okay. Nah. Do you ever remember telling the agents in that case that you lived at 518 East 88th Place in Chicago? 518 East. I never stayed on no East 88th Place. Only I stayed 7534 South Kingston, 63rd and 39th. I never stayed I don't know what you talking about. No 88th. I don't know what you talking about, ma'am. Okay. But you were a confidential informant in 2008. You remember that? And you remember that you did not make any claims about any gang activity or criminal activity at Parkway Gardens. Is that correct? I never provided no activity. I went to them because a dirty ass cop from the low end had took my money and he was extorting people and he was extorting everybody. And that's what made me go to the feds because he had a team. Yeah, he had a team. Sir, that's why I went. That was my whole reason for going, so I'm done with it. And do you remember, again, becoming a CI in 2011 and providing information? No, ma'am. Okay. Do you remember that at that time you provided no information about gang activity or criminal activity in Parkway Gardens? No, ma'am. Never reported about Old Block or Parkway. None of them. St. Lawrence, none of them blocks. No. All right. Thank you. Just a moment, Your Honor. Sure. Judge, I have no further questions. Thank you.